What is that was so What is up, YouTube? So today I'm gonna tell you about I'm so sorry, my glare. Can't see. But yeah, today I'm gonna tell you about the first time I ever broke the law, because I'm just a rebel. So bad. So I don't know how old I was 13, and it was my 8th grade year. Yeah, I was in 8th grade, and my sister was having her sweet 16, and it was at my mom's best friend's house. It was like in the middle of nowhere, it was just, it was far, and we live in a city, so we just drove out and had the party there. But my uncle was there, and he is like young. My uncle is only a few years older than me. It's kind of weird, but he's about 4 or 5 years older than me, and he was driving at the time. And so we were leaving the party, and my best friend Rain, she was with me, and she spent the night, because the party lasted all night, and we spent the night there. My mom let her stay the night, and so we just, and then the next day we were leaving my mom's best friend's house. We had everything packed up, all the decorations, everything was packed up, and so we were on our way home. And so my uncle let me drive at 13. And I just wanted to drive on the dirt.
You are so dumb.
I just wanted
you
to
are
drive
really
on the
dumb.
dirt
For real.
It's not really as common for cops to be around those areas, so I didn't see a problem with it. Neither did my uncle. So we were driving, or I was driving. First of all, didn't have shoes on. Second, I didn't have a seatbelt on. Third, I did not have a permit, didn't have a restricted, didn't have any sort of license at all. And
you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Ever. I've sat on my mom's lap before and I steered the wheel or whatever, but I've never actually driven on my own. So this was a very off for leaving the house, and I'm on a dirt road and I'm driving. I'm doing fine. So then we come up to a stop, and it's an actual highway. The dirt road had ended, and we were on an actual highway at this point. And I was like, okay, do you want to switch? And my uncle was like, no, you're fine, you can keep going. And I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. Okay, whatever, bet. So I keep driving, and I'm on a highway. The highway's not too busy, there's not a lot of cars. So I keep driving, and I didn't realize I was speeding, but I was. Rebel. But I was speeding, thinking of driving, and I look to the left, and I see a cop. I'm like, Nathan. And my uncle's sitting next to me, and my heart sinks, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Nathan, as I'm driving, saying his name as quiet as possible. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to respond. I just, was freaking out. So I'm driving, and he's like, you're fine, just keep going, everything's gonna be okay. So I keep calm, and at that point, I didn't know I was speeding. I didn't realize anything. Wasn't aware. I mean, I should have been aware, because I shouldn't be driving and not aware. But I also didn't have my seatbelt on, and that's the first thing I should have done. But so I was driving, and I look in the rear view mirror, and I see the cop turn around about a mile back, half a mile-ish. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So at this point, I am crying, freaking. I'm like, Nathan, what do I do? He just turned around. I'm so scared, holding on to the steering wheel for life, and I'm just so scared. And I'm like, Nathan, and he's like, you're fine, just calm down, just keep going, don't worry about it. Because if I would have just kept getting worked up, I probably would have, it would have just been more dangerous for me and the other people in the car. So I keep driving, and the cop is getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And so the cop turns his lights on, and I see it in the mirror. And my 13-year-old self is looking in the mirror, and I see cop lights. And I'm like, I'm just like, my whole life I always had straight A's. I was a very good kid. And so at 13, getting pulled over, that was just so like crazy for me. So crazy. So I'm sitting here and the cop is behind me. The lights are on, and I'm like, Nathan, the lights are on. Like, what do I do? Because I didn't know how to pull over, didn't know how to stop a car, didn't know how to do any of this. So I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, you're fine, just keep going. And I'm like, Nathan, like, the lights are on. The cop is behind me. I can't just keep going. Like, what? So he's like, okay, I'll pull over. So I swerve over, and I'm in the lane closest to the shoulder where I would have pulled over. So I just pull over, and I'm like, my foot isn't even on the gas, and I'm just pulling over, and I park the car. And I don't know how I knew this, but I knew it was illegal to drive without shoes. I knew that. I don't know how, but I knew that. So I was like, hey, Nathan. I was like, guys, give me my shoes. My shoes are in the back seat. And so I was asking Rain for my shoes, and she gave me my shoes, and I put them on real quick. I was like, if there's anything I can do, I'm going to eliminate some, like, things that I did wrong. So I put my shoes on. I buckle up, like he hadn't already seen that I didn't have a seatbelt on. I buckle up, and he comes up to the window, and he's like, do you know what you did wrong? And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah. Like, there was nothing I could say for myself. And so he was like, do you have a permit? And I was like, no. He was like, do you have... And so I explained that to him. I was like, I just wanted to drive with my uncle. Like, I just wanted to get some experience. Like, I'm supposed to be getting my permit soon. Like, I just wanted to, try it out. And I was like, I'm just so sorry. Like, I kept apologizing. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like... But yeah, I kept apologizing, like that was gonna change anything. And so, I'm sitting there, and my heart is like I'm just shaking, terrified. And then the officer asks my uncle to get out of the car. So my uncle gets in the cop car, and I'm thinking, this is it. Like, he's gonna get arrested. I'm gonna go to juvie. Uncle sits in the car, and I'm talking to my friends, trying to calm down. And my uncle comes back, like, after 10 minutes of sitting in the car, and he explains to me that he got a ticket, and he got a huge ticket. And then the cop comes to me, and he has like this paperwork, and it's explaining, like, I have a ticket. It shows like the amount. It shows what I got a ticket for, and I got charged for 3 different things. I got charged for not having my license, for not having my seatbelt on, and for speeding. And I was speeding 10 over. I was going 65 and a 55. So my ticket was pretty big, and my uncle paid for all of it. He paid for his ticket and my ticket, because my mom felt like, he let me drive. He didn't tell me to put the seatbelt on. So my mom felt like it was kind of his responsibility to cover that. So my uncle covers it, and I am a felon. I'm a felon. Not really. But, so that would have been on my record. And my mom did not want that to go on my record because, like I said, I've always been a really good kid. And to have that on my record is just kind of, like, people look at that and they see that. Jobs look at that. Colleges look at that. And they see, like, oh, like, this person, like, whatever. So my mom wanted to get rid of it. And I had to go, okay. I had to do 10 hours of community service. And I had to go to and I had to go see a probation officer. That's what it's called. I had a probation officer at the age of 13. So, yeah, and remind you, I live, like, the place I had to go to see my probation officer, yeah, that's what it was. The place I had to go to see him was literally, like, 45 minutes away from where I live. and I had to miss school to go see him. I had to, you know, like, it was just a hassle, and it was really frustrating that it, like, affected me that much, and I really didn't think it would. So I had to go see him a couple times, probably like 2 to 3 times, and I just had to check in with him. I had to, like, take a report card and show him I had good grades and that I was a good kid at school, and I had to, you know, check in with him and, like, talk about how many community service hours I did, and, you know, I just had to check in with this guy, and I was terrified. Like, I am 13 years old messing with the law. Like, I was terrified. So I got my community service done, and I finished all my meetings. I didn't need to go see him anymore. So I got a diversion, and it cleared it cleared it off of my record. So you can't go and, like, see that I got pulled over. Like, you can't see those charges. You can't see that I got a ticket. Not that I don't think so. Like, I'm pretty sure it just clears it. I'm sure somehow you can go, like, you can see that. Like, finding for me to get a diversion. Cleared it off my record. Everything was fine. I was in trouble for a while, and I was supposed to get my permit when I was 14, and I was supposed to go through driver's ed and all that, and I didn't because that was my consequence, and so that really, like, affected me because now I'm 16, not driving, and I would be driving at 15 with my restricted if that didn't happen. So I took driver's ed not too long ago, and I will have my restricted in, like, a month, so I'll be driving. But yeah, that was the story of when I got pulled over, and that was, like, so terrifying. And, you know, like, when I got home, after it all happened, like, when we were pulling off, my uncle and I switched spots, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, playing music, singing, like nothing happened. Like, I was fine. I was freaking out when it was happening, but after we, like, pulled off and everything was fine, I was just like, whatever, like, I just got pulled over, like, it's no big deal, like, whatever. So I'm sitting here, like, listening to music, and I'm like, Nathan, isn't that so funny? We just got pulled over, like, and, like, laughing about it. And Nathan's just like, yeah, like, it's so funny, like, yeah. And he's like, you know, he's young too, and he's like, so scared, like, worried about that ticket that he's gonna have to pay for, worried about how he's gonna talk to my mom, worried about, you know, like, he's still young. And I'm just, like, laughing, thinking it's nothing. Like, no big deal. Like, you're not going to have to pay, like, $600. But then I get home, and I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, hey, Mom, guess what happened? Like, no big deal. Like, I didn't think my mom was going to flip out at all. And I get home, and I'm like, hey, Mom. And she just went off on me, and she was just talking about, like, how she's going to pay for dance. And she was like, that is so much money, like, I don't want, like, you put Nathan in a bad situation. You had 3 other people in the car that you know, were, like, they were in your hands. Like, if something would have happened, that would have been on you, and you would have lived with that for the rest of your life. That would have been your fault if you were to get into an accident. That would have been on you. So she just made me feel like it opened my eyes to it a lot, because, like I said, after we left, I didn't think it was a big deal at all. So I was like, you know, I cried for so long. I just thought I was such a bad person. I felt so bad for my uncle. I felt so bad for my friends because I put them in that situation. I like, you know, I was in danger. Like, that was dangerous. I was speeding on a highway, and anything could have happened. So I got pulled over and broke the law for the first time. Not proud of it, but it is definitely a funny story to look back on. But yeah. I cry about getting pulled over. But yeah, thanks for watching my video. I appreciate it. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, give me feedback if you have any ideas. If you think there's anything I should work on, let me know, because what's wrong with, you know, improving. So, thanks for watching my video. I'll see you next Sunday. Good luck, Charlie.